Well, welcome to another show on Godcast with real talk with Tula Kabone. Y'all can tell the weather got me off balance. Michigan well out the chain. But welcome to another show with Real Talk with Tula Kabone on Godcastic. And you know what I always say, if you hear the sound of my voice, you know God has blessed you to see another day. So let's get an amen. Amen. You know what I say, prayers go up, blessings come down. Also, I want to greet y'all in the tongue of Swahili, which is an African language. Habargani, and your response would be Nzuri. Try that sometime. Go to somebody and say Habargani. Have them say, what does that mean? You know, what's the news for the day? It's almost like saying, what's up? I think Uhalagani is what's up. But anyway, that's another part of Swahili, but just Habargani and Nzuri. And it should be good. You know, you got to see another day. God has blessed you to see another day, man. It's up to you what you make of it. So we're going to be saying today, when you know better, you should do better. And what made me have this conversation, and I want, people to really vibe with what I'm saying. What made me have this conversation, man, I began to really think about some of the stuff that we do and we know we shouldn't do, but we continue to do. And sometimes we do the stuff to other people we want, or we do stuff to other people we don't want done to us, or we fail to show empathy for other people, but we want empathy shown for us. Particularly, I was listening to, I went with somebody yesterday to court. As people know, I do paralegal work. And sometimes people ask me just to go along with them so they can kind of understand what the lawyer's talking about. Now, I guess I'm like a legal interpreter, or try to talk with the lawyer and explain their point of view just in case they don't know how to communicate their point of view to a lawyer. And to me, that makes sense. So while I was sitting there, I seen this lady, trial was going on with a divorce. And she was talking about some of the stuff she was subjected to by her husband. And I'm looking at this guy, and this guy tried out for professional football in Canada. And the woman is small. And so let me put it out here. Let me be more specific. He was a white male. She's a black woman. And the reason I'm saying this is because whenever you involve yourself in a relationship sometimes, there's a culture difference. There is. Black people grow up different than white people. That don't mean you can't love each other. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. So as it went on, she had a different understanding. And what she said was, once they got married and they moved to Chicago, his behavior would change. He would stay out all night, not call her. Well, anybody know in a black household, that's not happening. Daddy, mama ain't got no boyfriend and staying all night, and you ain't gonna call and tell her where you at. That's a red flag. What's going on? And what she said, well, I really didn't care if he stayed out. I just need to know where he was and he was okay. He ignored that. So at that point, she said that she became bitter. So he decided to move her to Michigan with his family, right? And once he done that, he was a closet alcoholic, which she said she really didn't know at the time. So his behavior became worse. And by this time, they was trying to have children at IVF, invertilization, I think I'm saying it correctly, where they trying to implant so she can have a baby. She couldn't just have a baby naturally, so they was trying to medically get her pregnant. I'll say it that way, for the sake of not being so vulgar, I guess, on Godcastic. So eventually, she ended up getting pregnant. So when she got pregnant, they was happy. She said it took some years, but she eventually got pregnant. So when she got pregnant, they talked about getting a house together and all that, and it was all, cool. So she, in her mind, she think, well, if I had this baby, it'll get him together. Sometimes women think that they can fix men, right? And men think they can fix women. right? Or they can fix a behavior that somebody have. And sometimes we have to learn the hard way. You can't fix something that don't want to be fixed, and especially if it don't respect you. I appreciate the hand clap. You know what I'm saying? So what she found out was that didn't happen. And not only that, his alcoholism had got worse. Now, he come from a background with family that had financial stability, right? They was well off. So his parents gave them the money to pay on the house. So she said that by his alcoholism getting worse, he wouldn't wake up to go to work. He had 5 or 6 jobs. She said when she would try to wake him up, he wouldn't wake up. It was almost like he was in a dead, deep sleep. So she said one time she was afraid to leave the baby with him to have him babysit. And he was only doing it one day a week. So she kept calling. He didn't wake up. And her daughter was in the crib, running around, like she's up and live and he's asleep. She became afraid. Then one time she said he was asleep with the daughter in his arms. She was afraid he was going to drop her. He was just out of there. So they had a joint account. And so she would making $2,000 every 2 weeks, $2,000 plus a little bit every 2 weeks. The mortgage was $2,400. So when her money going there, they was taking the mortgage from her account. He wasn't working. I'm just like, wow. So she even get to the worst part of it. And she said after the gender reveal party, he came into the room and said, well, I was upset at the gender reveal party because you didn't have a boy. She was having a girl. She said, what are you talking about? And he became belligerent and got mad, and he assaulted her, right? He didn't say nothing about it. It was a silent thing. They knew he knew. So again, after that, she said a little time after that, he assaulted her again, ran upstairs. But by this time, I don't know. But anyway, he ran upstairs. By this time, he was sleeping in the basement. And she was trying to leave. He cornered her in the basement. She ran up the stairs. He grabbed her by the leg. She fell. She ran up in the attic, and he followed up there, threw her on the bed, locked her hands in. She said, get off me. She kneeled him. He fell back. She had pictures of it, right? So you would think that by her having pictures of it. Now, I'm telling you what I was in. I was court watching because I went to go with somebody else. And the only way they can get their case heard, we had to wait for this one to go through. It was a trial. The lawyer forgot to send the other attorney a copy of the pictures. When anybody know anything about law, it's called a discovery. So you have to make sure the other party have the information prior to trial so they can plan their strategy accordingly. She did not send the pictures, and the judge, by law, could not allow them in the evidence. And the lawyer obviously wasn't going to agree to it because it made her client look bad. But anyway, the girl explained what happened, and I'm just looking like, wow. So the guy was sitting there, and I could tell, and I kind of feel energy off people. I kind of am a people person, so I kind of can, if you're a people person, you can go in a room and kind of sense who's the person you should talk to, who ain't, who shouldn't. You study body language. So I'm watching the guy. Now he got a lawyer and somebody behind the lawyer taking notes. She has one lawyer whom happened to be a black female. And why did I say that? I'll tell you why. So I'm like, man, this guy was tall, and I'm just like, and I'm looking at him like, bro, at what point did you think it was okay to do that? And his parents was aware of his behavior, right? In fact, the girlfriend or the wife said he admired his dad so much that his dad controlled him, right? So I'm just like, wow. So, and I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, where was her brothers at who didn't say anything? And I'm going to tell you something, man, in black culture, and I'm saying this unadulterated, a sister's going to try to knock your head in the dirt. She going to call man, Batman, somebody, and she going to try to get you dealt with because you shouldn't be, I don't think no man should beat on a woman, period. That's just A1 to me. I don't care what she do. She slap your face, phone, I appreciate that, a hand clap. You understand? We are physically stronger than women. If your woman hits you, leave her. It's simplistic. I'm out of here. If she slap you again, kill the relationship. Because you ain't going to keep accepting slaps. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to keep getting assaulted. But anyway, man, her attorney was black, and I hear him talking. You know, sometimes when you're dealing with culture, it's like I couldn't understand how to deal with a person that's from Ukraine. I have empathy for a person in Ukraine, but I don't understand Ukrainian culture. I don't understand what they go. And that's why I tell people that culture is okay. It's the racism part that's not okay. You know what I'm saying? You don't add what black people have been subjected to in America is that whenever we talk about culture, it's almost like we're made to feel ashamed of it. But everybody else can talk about their culture. Like last weekend, they had like a Greek fest, right? The Greeks do what they do. The Ukrainians do what they do. The Italians do what they do. The Polish. But when black people, we talk about culture, oh, man, I don't want to talk about that. But everybody else do, because there's nothing wrong with culture. It's all about you. It's all about you and how you feel about it and how you exude it. So while her and the black lawyer was talking, I could tell she understood her pain. Because the girl felt like, man, this is all crazy. No, more so, let me tell you what the lawyer said. His lawyer in the open argument. She said that she comes from, you tell me what you think the language is. She comes from a broken home. Her mom left her dad, and she do not know what it's like to be in a stable home, because she wanted her mom to take care of her daughter in Cincinnati, and she wanted to transfer. She wanted to go down there. And so when the lawyer used that trope, that's almost like saying that, you know, black women couldn't raise good children. That's how I took it, that a single black woman couldn't raise good children because the father was in the home. She just ain't no good, right? And I'm just like, wow. So I seen her mom, because she said, yeah, my mom has psychological issues. And my mom has tried to commit suicide, but she getting mental help. Now, if you want to study that, that's probably a whole lot of Americans. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even have to put her mama face. So when the way the lawyer tried to describe her mom, you would think her mom looked like a monster or she's some. And I seen her mom, the lady look normal as all outdoors. Well kept, well spoken. She loved her daughter. So I'm like, wow. And I'm looking at her mom. I'm like, wow. This is not who the lawyer tried to describe. And so I'm sharing this, man, because, another thing she said that the husband told her when she would express herself, he would say, shh, you have never been in a two-family home. You have never seen a married couple communicate, so you don't know what it means to actually communicate. What kind of trope is that? Right? And now this is where culture come in at, because let's be clear. And I had to tell somebody this today. Whenever they give a percentage of black women who are single in their homes, in urban areas, some of them, a great deal of them, are on food stamps, right? Or getting some type of financial assistance from the government. If the government, in 1960, they called the man in the house rule. They created this man in the house rule. And if you watch the movie Geraldine with James Earl and somebody, I can't think of the other actor, it breaks it down. The man in the house rule, or the man in the house rule means that if you have a man in the house, they cut your benefits off, or they would diminish your benefits, and they base his income based on how much they give you. Black women has always known that. And if you're married, they need to know his income. Because if you're married, they almost cut you off food stamps. This has always been a truth in the black community. I know, because they did it to my mama. But my dad, they tell black people, my mom said, well, you got to hide his clothes. You think I was ashamed of that? You got to hide his clothes, but we need the help. So I'm saying this, that because those statistics exist, do not mean that they live in a household where the black father is not there taking care of his children. But legitimately, that cannot be documented because the system is not fair unless you're an immigrant. Immigration, you can do that. They're going to give you food stamps and look out for you. But if you're black or American, Well, I mean, narrow it down for what I know. If you're black and you got a man in the house, they're gonna count that stuff again. Matter of fact, a friend of mine lives with his baby's mama. He paid child support, and he has 2 children, but he's not making enough to really come out come up out of poverty. She applied for food stamps. They told him she can't get them because he's in the house. Right? I'm telling you this. So people need to understand, and what they do statistically, they always trying to make black women are like she's the great sex demon, the great whore. No disrespect, but I'm saying what they make the sisters look like. And like she just having babies and the fathers ain't there. No, the fathers are there. They're there. But you're not going to get them registered because you're going to cut her benefits off. She needs to live and survive. And then they tell her, if you make over $2,000, we're going to cut your benefits. So the system traps us into poverty, right? Because it's hard. But the father's there, trust and believe, right? He's interacting. A lot of black men interact with their children outside the stereotypical myth that black men are running around being studs like we was forced to be doing slavery to black women. That's not true at all. Black men love their children. We love them very much so. Now, can brothers, if you know better, you should do better? Absolutely. Absolutely. But don't think that like we just walked away from our children because society paints their image, and that's not true at all. That's not true. So I'm telling you that whenever you hear that statistic of black women being in single households and black men not there and they're not married, it's a reason why they're not married. You have to look at, are they on government assistance and know how that system works. Facts. That is a fact. So, and the reason I'm breaking this up because we don't know what type of assistance her mom was on at the time. I think she was the only child. I think that's what she said, if I'm correct. But we don't know what type of assistance her mom was on or what they was going through. So I had to put that out there. So for her husband to make that statement from an aspect of not understanding black culture, that's a shame. That's a shame. You don't never say that to somebody. You don't never suppress somebody else's feelings or what they're feeling because you have this false ego that you have the ultimate answer of what a relationship looked like because you grew up in a 2-family home. Mind you, let me put this out there. His mom was an alcoholic too. Facts. Supposedly, she been on sobriety for 30 years. You know how that goes. So even though you was in a 2-family home, did that matter? Because he did not hold a job. When he came to court yesterday, he still didn't have a job. His family is feeding him. We don't have that luxury because financially we're not allowed to climb that ladder like that. Let's be honest. If we go in the city of Detroit right now, on the east side, west side, look around at the businesses that's in that area and see who will employ us to work. And see if they pay us the economical wages that we so deserve. Most of them try to underpay us and overwork us, right? And what they're doing now, they're sliding black men out the way and hiring the sisters. I don't knock that. But I knock this. I knock the fact that we need more of our sisters to say, hey, you know what? Where is the black man at? Well, that's on them. Let them get what they need. But you got male children too. So your children going to fall in that bucket one day as well. So I'm asking for a little more accountability as far as us sticking together and fighting together like everybody else do. But getting back to that, man. But so that was, and I'm looking at the husband like, if you know better, you should do better. Right? You know better, you should do better. And so it involves even people. I was talking to somebody. I got some cards made from something made from a clone today, and she explained to me that when people come into her store, the children smell like marijuana. Right? And I'm thinking to myself, what parent in their right mind would subject their child who does not have a decision, whether what you do or not in their right mind, will sit around and smoke marijuana around their child. That don't make sense to me because that child is inhaling that stuff. You really think that child ain't getting buzzed by the contact? What you think because it's a child, somehow the contact just going to say, oh, yeah, this is a child, so we're not going to get the child high. You don't make sense. That don't make sense. If you know better, you should do better. Period. Thank you. Somebody told me the children go to school smell like weed. You mean to tell me, Man and LaQuisha, that you can't wait long enough to light that joint up to get your children in school? You got to smoke that joint in the car while taking them to school or play some music that should be adult rated. Listen, that should be adult rated. You blasting the music and smoking the joint while taking them to school. And then you wonder why your child is bad in the school. Then when they call and tell your child bad, you want to get mad at them. And you know your child bad. You know how your child bad? Because all you do is scream at them, or you just say, I'm going to drop you off today. I can't deal with this. Let me take you to your daddy, or let me take you to your grandma, or let me take you here. But you made that. You made that by the things you were doing. And you should have known better. But you know why you should have known better? Because you didn't want nobody treating you like that when you was a child. Facts. Facts. Some of us suffer from childhood trauma. Right? We do. But then we exact that same type of behavior on people that we know that's children. We do stuff that we don't. We beat our children. We do stuff that adults shouldn't do to children. We say stuff around children that adults shouldn't say around children. And then you wonder why at 12 and 13, 11, 10, your daughter listen to Sexy Red. Trying to act and do what Sexy Red doing because you raised a Sexy Red. You didn't have them listen to gospel. You weren't trying to take them to the church. You weren't doing none of that. You was in there smoking weed and doing what you was doing. And this goes for men and women. Men, we got a responsibility too. Sometimes you got to say, give me that. You ain't finna be listening to that. Matter of fact, let's have this conversation. How you know about this? How long you been listening to this? You realize that's adult behavior? Not, oh, well, look at my baby. 6 years old, twerk. Are you for real? Mama? Daddy? Ain't none of that slick. Got your son 3 or 4 years old playing with a gun. Talking about that. No, man. No, that's none of that slick, family. That's not slick. We, right, as a culture, must hold some accountability for what we know. We know better, we do better. Whenever you do stuff like that, you got to ask yourself, well, how would I have felt if somebody did that to me as a child? Right? And a lot of people going to say, man, and we know people who do stuff that's out, their children are so undisciplined, it is pathetic. And then she got the nerve to say, don't touch my child. Now, take your child and you out of here. You know your children is bad, LaQuisha. I ain't got to tell you. You know they bad. They tear up your own house. Put walls in the house right on the wall. Don't listen to you. And what all you do is scream at them. They don't care about that. And then when a male want to discipline them, right? Oh, don't say nothing to my baby. Oh, okay, I got you. Well, you know what? I ain't got to say nothing to your baby. But when they get older, the streets going to teach them or prison will. You hear what I said? The streets is going to teach them or prison will. Most men who are undisciplined will grow up to live an undisciplined life. And they will feel that life is what they want it to be. You think I'm lying? Look at number 45, Donald Trump. Grew up with no discipline, and he feel he can do whatever he wants to do. So when they're held accountable, they ain't going to get his treatment. Let me say that. But whenever they're held accountable, they don't understand that their actions, why am I being held accountable? I should be able to move and do what I want to do. That's not how the world really is. The prison got a whole bunch of brothers in prison like that who thought that way. Legitimately. The brother who shot up the stove, shot the guy in the knee in Southfield. I spoke about it for some guacamole 2 or 3 weeks ago because he got mad because they didn't give him enough guacamole, right? And he went behind the guy and started putting his own guacamole. The brother, he pushed him inside and shot him in the knee. Man, where'd you get that anger from? Where'd you even get that thought process from? So we got to realize, man, we have a responsibility as humanity to make sure that we're contributing our best to people. If you know better, you should do better. I don't give you a pass. Let me tell you something about me, right? And I don't want you to give me one either, right? I want accountability on me because accountability makes you a stronger person. I don't want to be around somebody. I don't like nobody telling me when I'm wrong. Then you know what? We can't even talk. I'm not finna be around you. Don't say nothing to me because you have to understand nobody ain't perfect and nobody ain't Jesus, right? So you have to understand that there's a responsibility upon you to accept accountability for your behavior so you can be the best person you can be. It's okay to say, okay, you know, I was wrong or this person is right. I shouldn't have did this. I shouldn't have did that. Man up. It's okay. You know, instead of saying, well, it depends on who tell me. So what you think gonna happen? Elvis gonna come from the sky and tell you was wrong? Or your favorite person? Or the grandma that's no longer alive who you really liked? And if you really respect your grandma or your ancestors, as my shirts say, right? Then you will do right inherently. You will want to leave a legacy behind or something that your grandma could remember you by. You won't keep acting like the fool she didn't know you was because you kept it away from her. Now that her energy is gone, you know, come on now. Y'all know we believe if somebody watching us from heaven that passed away. You think they ain't watching what you're doing? You don't think you should do better? You should do better. If you want the best out of life, you got to be better than what you are. You got to reach for the stars. Period. Sometimes, man, I'm ripping and running. I don't feel like moving, but I know that in order for me to have a better lifestyle, I got to move. Malcolm X said something, man, I was listening to him before I got here. He was vibing heavy. And he said the black economics in the black community, it's upon us to really do that. He said what we have been conditioned to think is like a slave. We believe that we're jungle bunnies and that we can't function and that we can't think. And he said, you're begging somebody for an opportunity. And I'm speaking in terms now of those who are racist, who racially don't even like you. But you want to pick it and get mad because they won't give you the opportunity. When at that time in 1964, when he made this speech, black people was worth $20 billion as a race. You know what we are now? And right now, it was estimated in 2009, we was worth $1 trillion as a culture. We spend more money than we save. Facts. If I ask the average black person who will watch this show or pay attention to this show, I would almost bet they don't have $2,000 saved in their account. $2,000 they don't have to touch. And they still making money to take care of themselves. I would almost bet that they don't have a vision to start their own business within the $2,000 that they have, right? I would almost bet that they don't think in terms of, I can do better than what I have. I'm tired of working at McDonald's and Wendy's for the last 20, 30 years, or last 2 or 3 years. Or I hate my job because my boss don't like me, right? We are, and as Malcolm so said, and I'm paraphrasing, we have to learn to go in business for ourselves in order for us to reach the economical status to where we need to be at. So we can stop begging people to give us something that they really don't want to give us. And when they do give us something, they put some ridiculous rules on it so you can't come up out of the poverty, like food stamps and welfare, Democratic Party, right? And I'm saying them particularly because they got us. So let me put out here, I'm not a Republican, so let me say this. I don't want nobody saying that. But the Democratic Party tends to fish and bait us, right? We're going to fight for your food stamp card. We're going to fight fight for me to have economical stability because you enslaved my ancestors over 200, 300 years and set the goalpost so we couldn't succeed. No, give us reparations so we can separate from the food stamps. But you ain't going to have that conversation. Because if we have that genuine conversation, right, because we're descendants of slaves, right? I'm sorry, we're descendants of those who were Africans and human trafficked over here and put into slavery, because I'm not a descendant from a slave. I'm a descendant from kings and queens who came from Africa, who was enslaved over here. So let me distinguish that, right? So now you got me thinking that I'm reduced to food stamps, disability, Social Security, and begging you for money, and then every month I got to check. And so if I don't meet the criteria, I can't get the money. So I'm soaking. Why don't you give us the money if you really care about the African American coming up out of poverty so we can do for self? We ain't got to ask you for nothing. And if you don't give it to us, then we need to think in terms of pooling our resources and creating jobs in our own. Because when you create your own job, you create your own stability, you create your own money, you're able to better save, you're able to do what you want. If you need time off to take for your children, or you just want to take a time out for yourself, because we all need a mental health break. Let's be real about that. Thank you, family. We need a mental health break. So now you can do that because you're working for yourself, right? That's facts. So Malcolm said, instead of us begging people, do for self. And I love the concept because when I was growing up, my dad, God bless his soul, lost his leg. So he couldn't work like that. So my dad began to create jobs and work for himself. He's the only man I know that drove a stick truck. Listen, I want y'all to hear this. This is no joke, and I'm not making it up. My dad was such a genius that he created a mechanism for him to drive a stick truck with one leg. That's genius. And I swear I wish I could remember it. But right now they got all type of stuff in there. But I'm saying, had I just had the genius at that time, I could have patented that idea and we could have became rich. But I wasn't trained or taught like that in the school system. Right? I wasn't taught to be independent thinker. I was taught to do what I'm told and follow what everybody else follow if you're African Americans. That's how it went. So we have to learn and we have to realize that sometimes you can be your worst enemy or your best friend when it comes to failure. Some of us have had so much money in our life that we waste the money. We waste it. Then we look back and say, man, I should have never spent all that money. Well, you can't, some decision, once that money gone, you can't say, hey, give me that money. You can't reach back in time and grab it. But what you can do is think better in the future. You can better save the money that you have. You can't chase the Joneses. Thank you, I appreciate that. To me, I'd rather have money in my pocket and go to former meals in Burlington, money saved, then walk around with the baddest clothes and catching the bus, and then got to call you and ask you, can you pick me up for a ride? That's what I'd rather do. And a lot of us have to realize that, because some of us, let's be honest, we self-create our own poverty. And what do I mean by that, right? Let me explain. We get paid on Friday. And now we know we got a small budget, but we can't wait to go get them new Jordans. We can't wait to get them new shoes. We can't wait to get that new weed. We can't wait to get them nails done. We can't wait to get none of that. And come Monday, you busted. Now you got to wait 2 more weeks to get some more money. So now you calling mama or grandma. Grandma on the fixed income. And you talking about, granny, can I borrow some money? Oh, you for real? You don't even go see grandma. You don't even spend no time with grandma. Grandma don't matter to you until you need something. And y'all know this is true. Y'all know it's true. Sorry about that. Y'all know that's true. That it ain't important until you need something from the senior citizens. Now, you know grandma or auntie or uncle, you know, they love it. Okay, baby, that's all I got. Well, I'm so sorry, auntie, but I spent my... Then you're going to lie and say why you spent your money. Well, you know, I had bills to pay. Are you for real? You know you didn't have bills to pay. You just mismanaged your money. But they're going to give it to you, and guess what happens when you get paid in 2 weeks? You don't even call them. Hello? Did somebody just hear me? Because I just called somebody and they heard the truth. You don't even call to thank them. You don't even give them the money. And they need that money because they're on a fixed income. And then when you see them 2 or 3 months later, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot. You didn't forget to ask for the money. Period. And shame on you for doing that. Now, everybody in the family, they done pass your name around, Lucretia. Guess what? Nobody won't give you no money. As soon as you call grandma again, baby, I ain't even got it. I'm so, Granny, you know, I give it back this time. Grandma gonna give you one more time because she love you. And you don't pay Granny back again. And now, your mama calling you. Why didn't you give my mama her money back? What you mean? She told you what I did? Why she telling you about our business? Because she was supposed to. You too, man. Talking about you too. You work Granny too. Y'all know what y'all be doing to them seniors. Manipulating their kindness to me. And you won't even go see them. You won't even go spend 2 pennies with them. In a nursing home, you won't even go visit them. You can't wait till they die. You think, Auntie, going to the nursing home, talking about, Auntie, what they said, how much time you got left? You gonna leave me that car? Are you for real? Are you for real? Yeah, and you know this happens. You know it happens. You know it happens. So now you mad at your mama for calling you, checking you about what you did to her mama. And then now you want to get the nerve to call grandma and check out on her because Granny ain't got the strength she had when you was 8, 6, or 7 because Granny would run upside their head. Now Granny can barely move, so now you're going to be the bully of grandma or auntie. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you for that. And y'all know it's true. You know, for real, you know it's true. So I'm just saying we got to really think about what we doing, you know, and how we treating people. Because if you know better, you do better. Do you want somebody to treat you that way? Do you want somebody to treat you that way? And I'm going to tell you something. I hate when people abuse senior citizens. You want to get me upset? Abuse a senior. I will go ham on that. For real. I'm sorry, y'all. This is my little brother. So, all right. I will go ham on somebody abusing the senior citizen. Period. Because I don't see a reason for it. And I seen so many seniors when mom was there. God bless my mama. So I think I explained to y'all about her. And all they want to do is just be loved and talked to, and I shared all the love that I could. When I see a senior man, I'm humbled. You know better, you do better. Some people say they miss their mamas, their aunties. There's so many seniors you can adopt, man. Go and pick somebody out and spend some time with them. Go visit them in the nursing home. All you got to do is say, well, what Miss Jones? Miss Jones said, I'm going to see Miss Jones. Miss Jones going to be so happy. And I'm going to tell you what I learned about a senior. First thing they say, I don't want to be a problem, baby. And you better say you ain't no problem. Not, well, you remember what you did to me when I was 5 years old. Are you for real? Are you for real? You done got beat up and your money took at the store and you want to harass grandma about something that happened 30 years ago and you wouldn't even fight back when they stole your money. Man, if you don't stop, you don't stop. And the reason I know I'm jumping around on these conversations because today it say, if you know better, you should do better. I hate the fact that we don't care more about seniors. That bothers me to the core of my soul because at some point, seniors become vulnerable and they're like children. They can't feed themselves. They can't walk. They can't move as fast as they did. But when we was growing up, man, they loved us. We can always go to grandma or auntie house. We felt a safe place. They would always make sure we had something to eat. Grandma gonna sneak a little money in your pocket. She gonna tell your mama or dad stop hitting you. You always felt safe there. But now they're getting older. We don't want to have nothing to do with it. Even when we lose our parents or people in our family, there's older senior citizens in the community. We can adopt them. Right? Period. And we have to learn to do that as a society, as humanity. If you know better, you do better. What you think? Getting old gonna skip over you? So that's gonna be you one day. And all the karma you put out there gonna come back to you. Yes, sir. It's definitely gonna come back to visit you. Right? And then you're gonna think about, man, I hate I did that to Miss Jones because guess what? Now I'm suffering the same fate, period. And please believe God is watching. God is watching. Some of us act like we go to church like, listen, let's have that conversation, right? Let's jump to that real quick. I'd have seen people go into church. I let them go in first. I thought the church was going to fall on them. They are sinners, super sinners, and got the nerve to sit in the front row of the church and tell my praise the Lord, Pastor, I know what you're saying. And you the biggest sinner on the planet. You disrespect your family. You do all type of stuff to them. And you got the nerve to say, I go to church. Whatever church you go to, I do not want to be a member of that church because you are a hypocrite, period. And this need to be said. We know people like that. We know people that's supposed to be deacons, ushers. I'm an usher of the church. No, you shouldn't be an usher of the church. You should stay up there as the pastor to pray for you every second of the day. And you too, deacon, no good. You should do the same thing. We got to understand, man, that whenever you, and this is my opinion, whenever you say that you represent the house of God or you holding those type of positions in the house of God, you have to be real about that. You can't get up there and play with God. Like, I know I'm not ready for it, so, hey, I'm cool with it. So I'm not there. I should be a deal. I'm straight. You know what I mean? I'm good. I'll come and I'll contribute what I can. But when people actually do that, and you know they're in your family or you know they're your friends, you know they wicked, they doing more dirt than the law allows, ain't got the nerve to try to judge, talk about everybody else. I hate that. Somebody come to church, they ain't got the best of clothes. They might not smell it, but you don't know their circumstances. But what you should do is what would Jesus do? This is what I tell people who act crazy. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Is Jesus here right now? Would you do that in front of Jesus? Would you hang out with Jesus? What you doing? Church follower? So are you really doing the Jesus thing or you doing my thing and saying that you following Jesus? Because people know, they look at you. Like, I'm a firm believer that politicians shouldn't be in churches, right? Because how can you politics is politics. Let's be honest about that. Black people have never really been for the political system in America. In fact, it was used to enslave us by creating rules and laws that we cannot be free legally. Listen, they had to give us permission to be free. There was a time that black men and black women could not even testify against slave owners, no matter what the abuse was. White women couldn't vote, but they can own slaves. So the system has always been used against us, even in politics. When I hear a politician, the pastors allow politicians, and I'm finna step on somebody's feet, so get ready. I know you're finna be angry, but let me give you the parable first. We know that many politicians have to be in the trickery, lying, saying stuff, not really fighting for the people. So when a politician come up there and the pastor endorses politician, and they don't do the things that they say they was going to do, then some of the members lose faith in the pastor and the politician. Right? What did Jesus do? And I want y'all to just think about that. When Jesus hung out with the Pharisees, who at that time was supposed to be a politician of today, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He was in opposition to them because of how they treated the people. So my thing, I'm sorry. Hello?
Hi, Tula.
Hello, how are you?
I just wanted to call. This is Amanda, by the way,
okay.
And I just wanted to call in and say great show. And despite whether I can get through each week, I just want to say that I'm always supporting you and always watching, and you are so down to earth, and I learn more from your show each week than I do anywhere else. Thank you so much, Tula. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Amanda.
Bye.
All right, bye. Thank you so much. Well, I appreciate the call from Amanda. Thank you so much. Yeah, I tell people I don't. Listen, man. Whenever you walk in the shoes of truth, man, and people hate hearing the truth. Some people will some people will rather hear a dressed up lie than a butt naked truth. Again, I'm gonna say it again. Some people would rather hear a dressed up lie than a butt naked truth. So whenever you walk in my shoes or being the person that I am, people don't like that. And instead of them judging the person who ain't telling the truth, they kind of want to stay away from but It's all out of love because I had to get beat upside the head with the stick of truth too to become the person that I am today. You know what I'm saying? We all have to accept accountability as far as becoming a better person. We all have the ability to be better than what we are, but it's up to us to reach that potential. And nobody can make you be the person you're supposed to be. And you shouldn't get a pass on that. You know, and this is what I say this to people. When it comes to us talking about the suffrage of slavery, of what we went through, I hate when people tell me, well, that was a long time ago. Why do you feel you deserve reparations? Or that was a long time ago. That shouldn't be an issue. Well, let me give you a history lesson. Whenever you take a people and you rob them of their culture, their religion, their language, their state of mind, the way they operate, and you give it to them in a way that you can control what they do, you had literally made a Frankenstein for failure. It's equivalent to, and I say this to people I talk to, whom happen to be white or black. I said, can you imagine if Africans had came to Europe, bought white people from the Europeans or the Greeks, took them over to Africa and enslaved them, gave them African names, took them from their culture, their religion, state of mind, gave them a religion, gave them a language, and dogged them out for 400 and 300 plus years, and they still over there. Some people can't even fathom that thought, and then you turn around to Africans, you should copy, and they look at you and say, we're not giving you no money, that was a long time ago. Just that analogy. Just that analogy should say, you know what? If you know better, you do better. You're right. And what I do for people who feel like we don't deserve reparations or we shouldn't receive it, and this is where I'm going with this. I say, well, I'm going to tell you what I want you to do. I want you to come work for me for 5 years for free. You're not going to have no rights. I tell you what to do. I want you to bring me your whole check, and I control everything that about you. And guess what? You don't have the right to report me to the police. I said, stop right there. Why you don't want to do that? If you tell me you don't want to do that, then why are you asking me to accept what happened to my ancestors as something in the past when you don't want to do it today? You're right. Then we want to talk about the Confederate soldiers. I said, that's in the past. But y'all always commemorating them, got the rebel flag. But Lord behold, if I start talking about reparations and suffering black people, I'm wrong. And for those who believe in humanity, who's not African American, a lot of people side with what we're saying. They do. I talk to them. They're like, you know what? You're right. You're right. And these are things, man, that we got to stand on our truth on, man. We cannot continue to compromise our integrity and our principles. When we know better, we should do better. If you don't want somebody smoking a weed around your child, then why are you smoking a weed around their child? Why are you sitting in the car at the store? Man, you can smell weed come. I'm like, what is wrong with them? Because they told you could do something legal, don't mean you got to be stupid about it, period. We should carry ourselves better, especially black men. Brothers, if you want to be a better father, then be a better father. Children ain't looking for money, man. They looking for love. Take time out to go spend with your children. It's okay, man, if you just hung out with them for a couple of hours and whatever you could provide for them. But spend quality time with your child. Tell your child that you love them. A lot of black men, and I'm saying this unequivocally, have a problem with telling their male children, or we'll tell our daughters, hey, we love you. But your male child, it's like we have this machoism where we can't reach out and say, hey, you know what, son? Man, I love you, man. I'm proud of you. You know what that does to his ego? Whenever he got something going wrong, even if he's wrong, he may make a decision. You don't punish him and beat him up. You say, hey, man, let's have a conversation. Where did you go wrong in that? Because for every action that we do, there's a thought process that causes us to do it. I'm not a person who believe, well, I don't know why I did. No. Let's sit down and talk about what you did, why you did. Right? And that's how we got to look at it as men. We got to do better, brothers. If you ain't a father that's not living up to your responsibilities and do that. Sometimes you can't buy them Nikes. Sometimes you can't buy that new car that you want to buy. You paying $12,000 for some rims and your mama renting a house. Are you for real, man? Are you for real? Your mama's renting a house? First of all, when it comes to family, you should buy a house, or you're renting a house while you chasing the Jones of buying a car for $10,000 and $12,000 or buying them new shoes. Nah, man, save that money. Put that money up. Do you really need them Jordans to walk around in the hood in? Are you? I mean, what do that? And that's what slavery did. Slavery conditioned us to be the best consumers there is. Our school system do not teach us how to save money, how to be responsible. It don't teach us none of that. In our community, we don't know how to save money. Let them come out with a new pair of Air Jordans and put them in the hood. But everybody broke gonna come out with the money. They gonna call grandma, auntie, mama, everybody they can get to wear them new Jordans. And they gonna wear them a couple of times and they care more about the shoes than they do their car. They care more about the shoes than they do their health. They care more about the shoes than paying their bills. This is what I tell them. I said, well, I guess I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. This how it's gonna go. You got an opportunity. You got opportunity to save money for your bills in the future, because you can't take them Nikes down there and pay bills. You can't do that. We're just gonna put them on the counter and say, hey, I want to pay my DTE bill. Or take that new Chanel bag. Hey, I got $2,000 in the Chanel bag. Are you for real? I've seen people neglect their children. They go get their hair done and their nails done while their children looking like garbage and begging for food. Who does that? Who does that? You got to teach your children now how to save money. You give your son a quarter, say, hey, give me a quarter. We finna save that. What we gonna do? We're gonna put it in piggy bank. Every time you get money, he ain't paying no bills anyway. We're gonna take half of what you get. When you get a job, start him a bank account. Don't have that extra, you sign it with him. Because the only way you're gonna have something is save money. Right? And I thank the Lord. So let me put this out here. I worked at them type of jobs. I've being a part of law. I did all that. And what I come up with the conclusion were I didn't like work for other people, because my self-worth was not valued. So I said, you know what? I'm finna work for me. I stepped out and said, hey, man, I'm work for me. My auntie, who I love more than anything, shouts out to Auntie Rose and my mama and my family. Hey, you can do it. You can do it. My little brother. Hey, man, you can do it. You can do it, man. Reach out and do what you got to do. And I stepped out on that limb. And I did it. Right? On vending machines. I make cologne. I do all this. And guess what? I didn't get a government loan. I didn't get none of that because I didn't want the government in my business, because I felt like as a black man, they would stagnate my growth. So I said, whatever I got to do, pick up dog shunk, save money, go to Farmer's Mill, go to Burlington. I stay in shape, because I learned one thing, and I'm going to tell y'all this. Let me tell you the secret, man. If you got yourself looking good and smelling good, a woman don't care nothing about what you got on as far as the high price of clothes. And if you do, you shouldn't be with her. I'm telling you this right now. I do not walk around with expensive clothes. I don't do none of that, but I keep myself physically together. And most of the time you see me, I'ma smell good. They gonna look at you and say, I've never had a woman say to me, or somebody say to me in general, man, you smell good, but you sure got them cheap. Because you can find good shoes at Former Mills of Burlington, name brand, but you just got to go get them. I ain't never say, oh, well, you ain't got the new Jordans on, and you ain't got. They say, oh, you look nice, you smell good. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying this to brothers, because at the end of the day, brother, you supposed to be the breadwinner. Not the woman, you supposed to be the bread. We got the game twist, and women do it. I'm like, oh, wow, what is you doing? Well, he don't work. I got to, no, you shouldn't be with him. I tell him that quick. Why you with him? Why are you with somebody that's not paying your bills? Well, I need a man. No, you need to be by yourself, and you need a friend, not a man. Because you got to find somebody. I was raised, my dad, even one leg. Well, one leg was trying to pay the bills. He got this, but he taught all of us. that it's your responsibility to the household to pay the bills. It's your responsibility to wash dishes. I can wash dishes, I can wash, I can clean, I can do all that. I do that. I would never sit at the house and my girl get home and say, hey, baby, you gonna clean the house? What? What are you talking about? I just got off work. I know, but nah, I don't know. What you mean? My dad cleaned, my dad cooked. So I'm saying, men, listen. We got to be a little more responsible, family. You got to stop chasing them Joneses. And this is for everybody. If you know better, you do better. And when you treat children, and this for people who's around children, whether you have children or not, do you treat children like you want to be treated when you was a child? That's the question I put to you. Do you treat children like you want to be treated when you was a child? When you see a child who mama can't afford to buy him those shoes, do you have the courage to buy that child a pair of shoes, or whisper in his mama's ear, hey, I'm going to give you the money. I want you to go take him shopping. And tell him, mama, I mean no offense to you. I mean no offense to you because I done did it. Thank you. I got 2 minutes left. I done did it. How many of you willing to do that? Or you tell the senior citizen, Miss Johnson, you've been walking, it take you an hour to get to, I got you, Miss Johnson. I'm going to go to the store for you. When she said, baby, I'm going to give you a tip, don't take the tip. Because senior's going to offer you a tip with Miss Johnson. I'll get it for you next time. These are the type of things we have to do. If you know better, you do better. And don't forget, you was a child, you're going to become a senior. How do you want people to treat you? This is a fact. And I hope that what I said to y'all, please like, love, and share this video. But what I said today was from the heart, man. It's real. I don't have notes. I speak from my head because I'm genuine about what I say. I put out in the universe what I want back most of the time. I'm trying to be good. You know what I'm saying? I can't be the deacon. I can't be the deacon because I'll pop off somebody real quick that's doing crazy stuff. But on a more serious note, we got to know better and do better, man. We can be better as humanity. But it's up to us if we put forth our efforts to do so. But we can treat people as a human family, not based on culture, but based on humanity. We can do better than what we're doing. We have to also embrace other people's suffrage and have that empathy for them. And particularly, people that's over the middle, all of them, man. Listen, you can't come back from the dead, period. And there's certain mistakes we make we can't change. So be careful when you move your hand and do what you do. You know what I mean? Because that's what's important. Well, I appreciate this time I had with y'all. My time is up.